Hello my loves, welcome to Penny by Penny. This channel will be documenting my whole entire sinking funds journey. I would like to answer in this video a few questions that have already come up from many of you, and that is why this video to me is highly requested by many of the people that know me. I figured it would be appropriate to start off this channel by introducing sinking funds and explaining the cash-based budget. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So the first question goes, what is cash budgeting? The cash-based budget, Dave Ramsey budget, the zero-based budget, it has various different names, but they're all essentially the same. And that is making sure that each dollar of your income has a place in your budget. So for example, I have a sinking funds for the $5 savings challenge. I have a sinking funds for tattoos, hustle, haircuts, new car, my Chime credit, and so on and so forth. I have various different things I'm saving for, and I have various other sinking funds for debt or eventual debt that I need to be repaying in the future. But essentially, it's making sure that each dollar has a place for what I need it to do. So you will not see me go into rent money for any groceries. I have a groceries fund for that. You will not see me go through my new car fund for any of my rent funds. There's specific sinking funds specific to my needs, and that is what a cash-based budget is. The second question goes, why is it important to have a cash-based budget? For me personally, I do believe that it is important to have whatever kind of budget, whether it be getting income per week or bi-weekly, and then dividing that paycheck into percentages. So maybe, a percentage for debt, a percentage for savings, a percentage for spending. Regardless of what kind of budget you have, I sincerely think that it is important to have one, especially if you're working out in the workforce, or if you're someone like me who rents. I think that this is so important to keep on top of. It's great for organization, and it makes it so that I'm never running out of money. However, I do think that ever since I started the cash-based budget, I've realized that in order for me to truly see where my money is going, as well as where it's coming from and how long it's staying in my possession, I feel like it's important for me to have a cash-based budget as opposed to depending on my debit. The following question goes, what kinds of saving methods will I be introducing to this channel? So I do plan to start the $5 savings challenge, which I already have a savings fund for, so that will be already introduced to the video, to the channel off rip. Then I would like to do the number grid that I see a lot of YouTubers do in the community. They do like a 1 to 100 boxes or something, and then they write 1 to 100 on 100 envelopes, and then each paycheck or each pay period they'll pull out a number, and then whatever that number is how much you insert into your envelope. I plan to do something like that of my own shortly on this channel. The only thing that's preventing me from doing so already is I would like to create my own template, my own design for my own channels. I also have a very massive goal of attaining a year's worth of expense money saved in my sinking funds. So in order for me to prepare for this, I would need a full year's time to save. So what I'm going to do in 2022 is I'm going to start saving every single month for 2023's expenses. That's something that obviously I want to start in 2022, but I am starting from now since I am employed and since I am working. I do plan to start a little bit at a time, starting from now. But I have actually started this whole entire system back in February. So since February, I've been preparing little bit by little bit for that goal. So the next question goes, how did I first start my sinking funds? So back in February, I did get COVID-19, and I was instructed to stay in my room for 14 days. During this time, I remember that it was one night that I was just scrolling on YouTube and a YouTuber's video came up with the thumbnail with a lot of money denominations across the screen. There was like a money sign somewhere on there. It was just immediately intriguing to me, so I clicked it and I watched the whole entire video. And I realized that there was a system that was working for this person, and it had to do with financial security. So although I didn't understand the system completely yet and how it was going to work for me, I knew that this was something right up my alley, and I knew I had to get as much information as possible before even attempting to do something like this. Then from there, I had different questions that people were answering in, comment sections. And I was just reading and reading and reading. And then all of a sudden, I just had the idea of having 12 to maybe 15 sinking funds. And from there, I was just on Excel spreadsheet on my laptop. And I put all the sinking funds there. And I wanted to see what it would really look like if I wanted to do it in real life. So yeah, maybe like a week later or 2 weeks later, when I was finally off of quarantine, I actually purchased the sinking funds separately. So it came in like a pack of 12 from Amazon, clear envelopes. And then I had to order the binders themselves separately. And then from there on, I knew I was getting some income for the semester. I am a college student, so that means I will be receiving refunds from my school. But this semester I got it in 2 parts. The first part, I took that money and I basically just paid my 6 months that I had left at my house to my landlord. And then the second payment, I basically devoted it to my sinking funds. And ever since that, it went off from there. So proudly, I just wanted to mention that proudly to myself, that I'm very proud to say that the money that I do have saved in here is actually the same money that I have had since February. The next question goes, what is it really like to not use any debit or credit anymore? So I did want to touch on this a little bit because I feel like there's a misconception about people that use cash-based budgets or only use cash. I feel like there's the misconception that we'll never have to rely on a debit card again. And for me personally, I don't know about anybody else, but for me personally, that's just not the case. I do run a small business, so any purchases that I must make through Amazon or through AliExpress or through any other vendors, I must need a debit card connected to my account. So when I make purchases like that, I usually calculate in advance how much I should be leaving in my checking account, and then I take out the rest in cash. And then it's never a problem because the money is always just going to sit in my checking account. But this is all stuff that I plan ahead of time. So that is something that I will say that it was at first hard for me to get used to. I was also someone before starting the cash-based budget to send money through Cash App and Zelle a lot. So that was another thing I had to get used to, is planning ahead so that I could have money in there to send to people via Cash App. It slowly became like less and less that I was even using the app. And now I just pay people in cash, and people usually accept my money in cash. It's not even I'm unfazed by it. And I could say now that I don't even miss my debit card when I'm at the grocery store or something. I mean, sure, maybe it does take a little longer, wait for your cash back and get your receipt and then walk out the store. Maybe it is a little time consuming, but for me personally, it's way worth it because at the end of the day, I come home with change. So I come home with money in my hand. And it's just a great feeling overall. And just the whole journey so far has made me think of my debit card in a different way. So now it's less about just money aimlessly sitting in my bank card, but more about that I actually have different accounts in my hands, and I need to make sure that each account is funded accurately so that when I need it for the appropriate thing or a bill or an expense or something else, it will be there. Alright guys, so that's all the questions I have for today. If you like the content you watched and would like to be notified next week when my new cash stuffing video comes out, make sure to hit that bell after you've subscribed. Also, make sure to like and comment any questions that you still have that I can cover in my next week's video. I would love to clarify any things that I may have left out. If you would like to purchase a cash binder similar to this, Check out my Shopify using the link in my description below so you can check out the ones I have for sale. I would like to thank you, the viewer, if you made it this far into my video, and I cannot wait to see you next week. Bye.